Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afzal bin Jarbar Sadiq. My match number is 1818311. The term paper I wrote was titled The Economic Systems of Islam, the Money, Banking and the Financial Market. This paper was intended to act as a review of the conventional monetary and financial systems in comparison to the Islamic financial systems, more specifically in the Islamic financial systems of the early Islamic era. This paper had been segregated into two segments. The first segment was on the analysis of the monetary system, which intended to evaluate the feasibility of a dual currency model in line with the surge of acceptability of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin in contemporary times. This issue was then compared to the early Islamic era with the usage of the dinar and the dirhams. The second segment of this paper was intended to bring a wider picture of the macro issues on financial systems. A thorough analysis had been made between the financial system that is backed by debt currently in contrast to the Islamic financial systems which were supposedly backed by real economical activities. Moving on, the first analysis of this paper touched on the monetary aspect. In this segment, the paper had discussed the definition of money, which is vital to understand before diving deeper into the evolution of money. The definition of money, as agreed by the conventional as well as the Islamic scholars, is that money is a store of value, a medium of exchange, as well as a unit of account. Considering the definition of money, the discussion then continues with the acceptability of having cryptocurrency as a form of money, as it is in line with the definition of money mentioned previously. The advantages of having cryptocurrency and digital wallets had been discussed in this paper, as it may have the potential of being a good means to an Islamic financial system. As cryptocurrencies are not backed by debt, which is the case of fiat money. This is mentioned by Evan in a scholarly study in 2015. Besides that, the values of justice could be apprehended through the widespread use of digital wallets and cryptocurrencies, as transactions are easily monitored. That being said, abhorrent acts such as money laundering, corruption, and any other white-collar crimes could be apprehended with the widespread use of cryptocurrencies and digital wallets. More importantly, the applicability of a dual currency regime had been discussed, and it had been proven to be beneficial considering certain circumstances as brought forward by Craig and Waller. The idea of a dual currency regime was brought into the picture with the idea of having cryptocurrency alongside the national currency, as well as to shed light on the idea of revitalizing the dinar and the dirham in contemporary times. Be that as it may, certain flaws of Bitcoins were nitpicked by Asif in 2018. Although Bitcoins are generally perceived as Sharia compliant, he mentioned that there are certain elements that are of questions, which are the excessive amount of risk as well as ambiguities which are present, which is often referred to as gharar yasir, which is a minor ambiguity. Among the criticisms of Bitcoin from an Islamic point of view is that the Bitcoin lacks intrinsic value as legal tender due to the fact that it is not backed by any asset. Asif also stressed on the proof of stake protocol, the POS protocol used in Bitcoin, as it is deemed impermissible as the miner has the potential to charge interest. Moving on, the second segment of this paper focuses on the analysis of financial markets. The analysis started with an introduction on the prohibition of interest-based lending, riba, which was widely practiced by the Quraysh in the early Islamic era. The prohibition of riba had led to the concept of partnership, mudarabah, which was a basis of a sound financial system that was practiced during the Islamic reign of the Khalifas. This was according to a book written by Sadr in 2016. In addition to that, various contracts used in early Islamic era were discussed, such as Wadiyah, Qad Hasan, that was based on the similar concept of the reserve ratio banking system that is practiced in conventional contemporary times. The discussion then continues by comparing the monetary policy of conventional times with the early Islamic era. Next, the concept of credit sales were discussed, whereby it was permitted in Islam in the condition that it is free from interest. The discussion also then continues with the differentiation between debts and loans, which was elucidated by Salim in his book published in 2012. He stated that debt has a broader definition than loans, as all debts are loans but not all loans are debts. The concept of loans were discussed as it implies the gratuitous nature of Qadr Hasan, which can be translated into beautiful loans, due to the nature of loans, which is to help somebody in need. All in all, this paper had expressed the favorable outcome of an Islamic financial system in the early Islamic period, in contrast to the current financial system that is backed by debt, that has its flaws, as exhibited for instance in the recent global financial crisis in 2008. Be that as it may, Arif in 2015 had mentioned that the current development of Islamic finance is in its infancy, as it focuses on the Sharia aspects rather than the actual objectives of an Islamic financial system. Nevertheless, with the evolution of time, the Islamic financial system should be evolved into meeting the objectives of an financial system. The aspect of cryptocurrency should also be taken into deeper consideration, as it has the potential and could be modified into a Sharia compliant currency that could aid the development of an Islamic financial system. All things considered, regardless of the variations of the systems used, the goal must always be to attain the blessings of Allah through the implementation of a financial system that adheres to the Sharia while looking after the welfare of the society. That's all from me. Thank you.